Hello everyone, it's your boy RM, and welcome back. Today we'll be talking about Hazbin Hotel, episode 5 and 6. I am going to have a slightly bit different of approach when it comes to these episodes, because here's the thing, I don't really see any super glaring flaws. And what I mean by glaring flaws is flaws that are new, or at least unique to the show as of right now, because when you talk about episode 5 and 6, I think episode 5 and 6 by far are the best episodes so far, in my opinion. I believe that overall, they're the best in the series so far, and there's a few reasons why because of it. So before we continue, this is going to be spoiler warnings for episode 5 and 6, so if you haven't watched it, please watch it. So moving onwards now, let's talk about what made episodes 5 and 6 really good. Starting off with episode 5, I think what made the episode really good was the introduction of Lucifer. Lucifer is a very fleshed out character. It's very cool to see him, be this guy with, he's basically kind of like reeks of this single dad energy where he's like, he's depressed. He's very anxious and all that stuff. He cares a lot of what his daughter thinks of him. You could say that's the pride in him because he has pride about his image and he wants to make sure he's portrayed in a specific way. So I think overall, it's a reasonable way to see the character, and I think it's just really well fleshed out, the character is. Not to mention, too, I think episode 5 also has a good tertiary character. In this case, it'd be Mimsy. Mimsy, I think, was a perfect character for this episode because she's in there, she's there, but she doesn't overstay her welcome. What I mean by that is she's very efficient. She's there. We learn a lot about lore. We learn a little bit about her, too, which is fine and dandy, but we learn a lot more about Alistair. However, the part I like is that the case isn't wide open when it comes to the Alistair theory of the idea of what is Alistair up to? What's his goals? Who is he working with? All that. Like, I understand we all probably know at this point it's Lilith and it's like a 98% surefire way it'll be proven. However, there's also other things to be asking questions about of like, why is Alistair, have his soul sold or something like that, or like what his final goals, like I said. And it's all we can do is speculate. And I think at the part, that's kind of nice. At least they haven't blown the case wide open yet, but they gave us enough fuel and information to continue this theory and at least mystery and keep us guessing, which I think is the fun part about this show. The fun part about this show is being able to speculate and have fun via theories. Besides that, though, I think overall, I liked the episode. I think it was good. Not to mention, too, episode 6 I think is very similar. I think overall, I loved how they portrayed with episode 6. And the thing is with episode 6, I like the part where they made the distinct detail that only exorcists know about the extermination that occurs. And I think that's a good pace of change, because I was really concerned that all the angels were going to be asshats like Adam or Lut. But it's a nice change to see that they're not all bad. They're actually kind of nice, especially with Emily there she's basically like the angelical version of Charlie, which is kind of nice to see because it means there's good angels in heaven. So I like to see that there's actually good characters and they're not wrongly portraying. Not to mention too, I think Sarah is a good character. Sure, she's been very vague this episode, but I feel like there's a good reason why she is vague in this episode. She's hiding something, but that's the fun part, is trying to figure out what she is hiding. And with a show where you only have so much time, you can't really have everyone say everything. So overall, I understand she's a morally gray character, but she's not all that bad compared to Adam. She's more gray when it comes to that. So I think overall, I like the characters. I like the courtroom scene. I like how they're going through, they're trying to figure out what, what gets someone into heaven, right? It's like, well, we just have them show up at the doorstep. I like everything that they've done there. The only thing I could argue that I didn't like specific about this episode is the fact that the song, the courtroom scene where they sing the song, did you know? I personally thought the first half was good, like the first minute and 25 seconds, but then after Adam, gave away the whole extermination thing, I think the song just kind of fell off for me there. Because I think it was an absolute banger, and then after that, the song just goes, stops, and then just the whole tone kind of shifts, and it's like, can't we just have it where they just start talking wait, the whole musical breaks, and you're like, there's an extermination? What's going on here? And then it starts erupting into arguments, and I think for me, that's really the main thing that's wrong with the episode. But overall, I think it's good. I like the fact, too, that I want to mention. I liked Vaggie learning that she's an exterminator because we already knew she was an exorcist at one point. So it's good to have confirmation about that. And also Serpentius, by far, had the best joke in the absolute show of all time when he's flirting with Cherry Bomb. He's just very funny. I like him. He reminds me of Dr. Doofenshmirtz for some reason. I do. He's just a funny character, and I like him, and you can't convince me otherwise, but you guys may have another opinion. However, now this is the part where I talk about what I don't like about both episodes combined. The part I don't like about him is everything seems way too fast. I feel like we are just zooming by. We are cruising in altitude. We are by far just going from point A to point B at the speed of light, and it's insane. However, what do I say about that? I can't say that, it's a new problem, because we've seen it with episode 1, we've seen it with all the other episodes too. Pacing is an issue. And I can't exactly blame, Vivian or for anything like that, because here's the thing. I feel like it's more of an Amazon issue where it's like, well, we give you this amount of budget, we give you this many episodes, make it work, right? And it's to the point where they have to prove themselves within 8 episodes, which is, I feel like, is not enough episodes. And not to mention too, I think Hell of Boss suffers from the same issue. It's hard to make a story within 8 episodes, right? Because there's a lot you need to do, but you only have 8 episodes. And overall, I agree with the popular opinion that the show should have had 12, 13 episodes, overall, because I think that extra 4 or 5 episodes would have made a big difference, because we'd be able to take the story a bit slower. Not to mention, too, we'd be able to be like episode 5 and 6. What I like is that it's smooth and continuous. We have the meeting with Lucifer, because, Lucifer talks with Charlie, then they argue, and then Lucifer gets the meeting with Charlie. Next episode, they go to heaven. I like that. Then there could have been more continuations between episodes, and it could have been more fluid, rather than the fact that from episodes 1 to 2, and then between 2 and 3, 1 week passed by. Then from 4 to 5, 5 months have passed. Then there would have been this huge time skip, and it would be like, what happened to all this time? What did they do during this time? So overall, I think it's nice to see that the show is enjoyable, and I overall don't think the problems that it has will be solved. But I'm not going to completely dox the show for it, because sure, it may be an issue, but we're having fun at the end of the day. I enjoy the show, and last time I checked, I've seen a lot of other people enjoy the show. People I know like the show. It's fun, it's entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's all we can possibly ask for. I know I like a fully fleshed out story, I love a lot of world building, but if a show is fun, it's fun, at least. And at the end of the day, that's why we watch shows like this, is to have fun. And that's what we need to remember at the end of the day. It's okay if the story's not perfect. Not every story is meant to be perfect. But as long as we have enjoyment in the things that we read or watch and, spectate, that's all we can ask for. But let me guys know what you guys think down in the comments. What did you guys think about this episode? Do you think this episode has issues that I'm just not even aware of? Maybe my unga bunga brain is not comprehending. And while you're down there, remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. But as always, guys, stay awesome, be awesome, and have a wonderful day.